So it was basically determining whether bars are getting larger or if bars are getting smaller, going forward in time here. So to give an example of why this is a little different here than other videos. So there are other videos where you can identify like a inside bar or an engulfing bar, right? That's pretty straightforward, because you're just checking to see, is the low, smaller, or I'm sorry, is the low, greater, or is the high smaller, right? Things like that. But when you're checking to see if a bar has gotten larger, you can't just compare the low to the low and the high to the high for that. Let me see if I can find an example. Yeah, there we go. So this bar is larger. Let's mark it there. And that bar is marked larger. But of course, if you compare the high to the high and the low to the low, basically everything kind of moved up, right? So doing this low to low and high to high comparison doesn't work anymore when you're trying to identify if a bar got larger and larger and larger. So, and actually it looks like, from this bar going forward all the way to here, it looks like the bars are getting larger and larger and larger. So that's what we're gonna cover right now. So to identify if bars are getting larger, or if they're getting smaller, what we're really checking is to see, is the high to high point and the low to low point expanding. So you're still, checking high to high and low to low, just not is one greater than the other or less than the other. But you're checking to see if they're expanding or if they're contracting. So we can use, the new, it's not new anymore, but it was new with BloodHound version 2. The newer or the newest of the solvers here, the Expansion Contraction solver, right? And that can identify if bars are expanding or contracting. All right, so we'll plug that in. So for input A, we'll set input A to the high prices, and we'll set input B to the low prices there, right? So let's change the input type to price, and then we're going to set this to the high of the bars, like so. And then input B, change that to price as well, and then switch this to the low price of the bar. All right. And let's see, next we need to open up the expansion contraction rules here. So this is where you determine, are you looking for the bars to get larger, which would be obviously expanding, or are you looking for the bars to get smaller, which would be contracting. So let's do expanding first. All right, so we just set them both to expanding, and if we hit apply, right, there we go. So when they're contracting, right, there's no output. But if the bar length, from high to low is expanding, there you go, right? And you could, do this to see if the bodies are expanding as well, right? So this would be like an example of the whole bar. Let's move this off the side, and there you go, right? So this is the whole bar is expanding. And let's make a copy of that, plop it in there. And now we could check to see if just the body is expanding as well. So for that, if we want to check the body, and let's connect that in, there we go. So we're going to change the price types here to this unique price here. We can use the body top and the body bottom to analyze that. So let's set it to the body top. All right, so this way, using the body top and body bottom, it doesn't matter the direction of the bar. right? Because obviously if you're using the open and the close and comparing those, right? Well, sometimes they're upside down, right? Such, with a down bar. So that would mess up the expansion contraction calculation there. So now that we have these, unique body price tapes there, that problem is solved. And body bottom, and there we go. Let's see. Yeah, again, another good example here, right? We almost have a doji here. Body got a little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger, and obviously this candle is larger, but the body, is obviously smaller. And let's see what else we could do. We could even check if the wicks are expanding. Yeah, so let's see here. I'm gonna copy this one again. Actually, I don't need to copy it again. I can just paste it there. So it's already on the clipboard. So we can check to see if the upper wicks are expanding there. All right. So input A is going to be the high for the upper wick, and input B needs to be the body top, right? The body top. So we'll switch this over to the body top, right? So obviously, so we need to figure out, is the top of the body the close or the open? So let's see, body top, and there we have it. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, interesting. All right, a little tiny wick there. And then we can see, the wicks are slowly getting bigger. Wow. And if you wanted to do the wick bottoms, right, you would just need another comparison solver, right? And then you could compare this would be the body bottoms compared to the low price. All right. So just kind of, reverse things around there. Let's see, what else could we check? I think that about covers it. So just as a reminder, these are all checking to see if the various components are expanding, and so if we wanted to check to see if the wicks are contracting, getting smaller, then just remember, just go into the rules window here, and you want to use, contracting, right? Use the contract setting instead of expand, for both of them. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, here we go. All right, so we have a fairly large upper wick, and then that wick got a little smaller, and a little smaller, and it looks like that wick is actually the same size as the previous one there. All right, so if you wanted to check that, I guess, just to cover all bases here, if you wanted to see if maybe the body sizes are remaining the same, right, or if the wicks are remaining the same, then remember there's other options here. You would check to see, are they parallel, right? So if I put, are they parallel, hit apply, and there we go, right? So that wick, the size of that wick is parallel, or, well, I should say it's the same size. Yeah, the size of that upper wick is the same size of that upper wick. All right, so, and let me put this back to expand there. Let's see, so let me go back to the body size. Oh, sorry, that was the whole bar. There we go, there's the body. So here we go. So we have the body here. We can pretty clear to see this body got a little bigger. And this one, this looks like this body is actually the same size as that body. So maybe you're okay. So maybe you're, you want to find if it's expanding, but if it remains the same size, that's okay as well, right? You still want to get, you would consider this same body size is legitimate for, but identifying if bodies are expanding, right? And so you would want this signal to continue on to the next bar if the body size at least remain the same size, so they don't have to positively be expanding, but they need to be expanding and at least remaining the same size. So if we want to do that, and let's see. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's delete that. All right, there we go. Copy and paste there. All right, so body, the bar body being the same size. So we just open up the rules window here. Put it on our parallel like that. Click OK. And then we would need to combine these together with an OR node. All right, so we have the body expanding, and if we wanted to include this one, there we go, just connect that in, and there we have it. There we go. So expanding, and those two bodies are the same size. Yeah. Let's see if there's some better examples here. Yeah, here we go. So this body here is probably like 2 wicks, and then it goes up to 3 wicks in size, and then all three of these bodies are approximately 3 wicks in size. There, and then the body expands one last time, and then shrinks a little bit. So, yeah. All right, and then lastly, this question was actually asked for a Heikin-Ashi chart, and for some reason, this person had the misunderstanding that Heikin-Ashi charts are special for some reason. But when you're doing system development, writing an indicator, indicators don't care what the bar type is. It's all open, high, low, and closed prices. That's all the indicators can see. They don't see the bar type or the chart type. They just see open, high, low, and closed prices. So if we switch this over to a Heikin-Ashi, just for good measure here, there we go. We'll put it on Ninja's Heikin-Ashi. Yeah, we'll leave it on a 1 minute derived Heikin-Ashi. And yeah, there we go. Let's see. Yeah, so we're still looking at the body expanding. There we go. There's a good run. So little tiny body expanding, expanding, and expanding. So all right. Well, that was the first question I had.